Today's topic is scientific management. Scientific management is introduced by F. W. Taylor. He is also known as father of scientific management. Scientific management means knowing exactly what you want your men to do and seeing that they do it in the best and cheapest way. This definition is given by F. W. Taylor. Now, principles of scientific management. First is science, not rule of thumb. It means that the scientific management should based on trial or error method or it should not based on trial or error method or hit or miss method. There should be one best method, one best way of doing the work, solving the organizational problem, etc. Second point is harmony, not discord. Managers are the link between workers and the management, top level management. So there should be harmonious relationship among the workers and the management. There should be no conflict, no clashes. So get the things done by the workers. It is very necessary for the managers to maintain harmonious relationship among workers and management. Then third is cooperation, not individualism. This is extension of harmony, not discord principle. There should be cooperation, not competition between labor and management. They should join hands together to get the things done to achieve the target of the organization. Fourth is development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency and prosperity. The employee should be given work according to their physical, mental and intellectual capability. They should be given the work according to their ability, capability. The work which suit most to them should be given to them so that it is easy for them to get the things done and achieve the target properly. Next topic is techniques of scientific management. What are the techniques of scientific management? First technique is functional foremanship. In functional foremanship, the organization is divided into two parts: functional foremanship, factory manager, planning in charge, in planning department there are 4 clerks: route clerk, time and cost clerk, instruction and card clerk, and disciplinarian. In production again 4: gang boss, repair boss, speed boss, and inspector. All these workers are accountable to all these 8 bosses. So what is functional foremanship? In functional foremanship, two departments are there: planning and production. Each consists of 4 clerks and bosses. In planning department there is route clerk. Route clerk means he has to show the path from where the raw material will pass. Time and cost clerk will determine the time and cost in which work is to be done. Instruction card clerk will pass on the instructions to the worker how to get the things done and what exactly they have to do it. Disciplinarian will see the discipline of entire organization. Gang boss will see and make ready the material and machine for the work. A repair boss will see that all the machines are in working order. Speed boss will see that the whatever time is fixed by the time and cost clerk, it is done in the same speed. Inspector will check the quality of the products. This is functional foremanship. Now next technique is time study. Time study, motion study, method study, fatigue study. Time study means to fix the standard time to complete a task. Motion study means to fix the movement and motion to complete a task, the required number of movements, picking, lifting, sitting, required to complete a job. Method study means to choose one best method of doing work, best way of doing work. Fatigue study means to give rest intervals in long working hours. In long working hours, there should be rest interval given to the workers to re-energize them, so that they again get energy to do the work. Next technique is differential piece rate system. Differential piece wage system. In differential piece rate system, Taylor has divided the workers into two categories, inefficient and efficient worker. He has fixed a standard of output. Suppose standard output is 50 units per day. A worker has to produce 50 units per day. Then wages below standard is rupees 2 per unit, and wages above standard rupees 3 per unit. So if A produces 49 units and B produces 51 units, then A's wages 49 into 2, that is 98 rupees. And B will get wages 51 into 3, that is 153. So the difference is rupees 55 after producing only 2 units more. B is producing only 2 units more than A, but he is getting rupees 55 more. So this is the difference between inefficient worker and efficient worker. Now the next topic is standardization and simplification of work. Standardization and simplification. Standardization means setting standard product, machine, etc. And simplification means There should be no unnecessary diversity of the products. Standardization means all the products used to produce output or product should be in the standardized way, should be done in a standardized way, standard machine, standard material, etc. And simplification means there should be no diversity of the unnecessary diversity of the products. Then last topic is mental revolution. What is mental revolution? Mental revolution means there should be change in the attitude of worker towards management and management towards worker. Both should cooperate each other. Management should not treat worker as a servant, and workers should cooperate management. They should not do strike and do the work properly. So there should be cooperation among the management and worker. There should be no revolution against each other. That's all for today.